Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here again today. Happy Friday to you all. It's been a real long week, busy one. I'm exhausted. Um, Happy Friday is all I have to say. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope things are going well and that these lessons are helping you guys. I try hard to be here at a specific time every day, but it doesn't work out due to my work schedule and meetings and things like that. But today I'm here a little bit earlier. The message won't be as long, um, but I'm here because later on I really need to get rest because for the last couple of nights I've only had a few hours of sleep. So I really need to get rest today. But it's important to show up here. To help other people because there's a lot going on today in this world. And I want to share with you guys, like how I share with you is by sharing the things, the trials and tribulations and things that I've gone through and how I've gotten through these challenges. And the key factor that I emphasize is lessons because the topic of discussion is I would have never healed without God. And one of the other things is the lessons. I would have never learned the lessons if it wasn't for God. Because for me, I didn't know where to begin, where to start, because it felt like deja vu, things repeating itself and different, players, but the same scenario over and over again. And I couldn't get from A to B to C. And I couldn't figure that out. And what I had to do is to see why it was playing out that way. And it was because I wasn't learning the lessons. It was like choosing situations where narcissistic individuals could enter into my life. And so when that um, scene ended, then the next scene came, into play. Different player, but same situation, narcissist. And I had to learn and understand through therapy, was the first step for me, why I was choosing narcissistic individuals to be in my life, what's going on here. And once I started to heal those childhood wounds and why I was doing certain things and I understood them, I went into prayer asking God to help me because this wasn't an easy task. These were difficult things, looking into the mirror, facing these things, why it's happening. And what I did know is that I didn't want these things, these toxic situations in my life anymore. And one of the things that helped me to get on the bandwagon to make these changes was when I lost my mom, you know, and it was a turning point in my life, but I didn't know how I was going to get through this and what I was going to do, etc., and so forth. But therapy, this is why I always encourage therapy. And my family's not a big fan of therapy, but it's important because the way I grew up, it's like what happens in this house stays in this house. It's not to be shared. It's not blah, blah. But if it stays within us, we can't heal it because it's a chokehold of stagnation and it has to go someplace. It has to come out, and in therapy, when those issues are addressed, then we can get better, we can heal. But there's no healing if there's no outlet for these things. I didn't realize that at the time. However, just working on myself, I spent a lot of time in the gym, doing things and, working out and listening to music. Music is a key factor to help me as well as prayer, meditation, meditation videos, just doing things to uplift my spirit, and it wasn't easy. And as I continue to persevere, because one of the problems I had too, guys, was procrastination. I would have a list of things that I need to do, but I would just not get to it. I would be going over these things in my mind a million times over and over. How am I going to take care of that? How I'm going to do it this way? Um, then I just said one day, to hell with this and just do it. however it turns out. I didn't know. Just do it. And so I started to do things, and that's what I do now. When challenges and circumstances shows up, I just take the bull by the horn and do what I have to do, instead of like before procrastinate. Oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to do? I just do it. I just go into prayer with God and say, I need to do A, B, C, and D. I'm trusting you for it. And then I go do what I need to do, you know. And it has been working out. But like I said, none of these things will work out without God, because I was so deep into depression and grief and pain and despair, and just asking God to lift me up. But I didn't just ask Him to lift me up and help me. I started to do some work. It's not like, asking God to do something, then sit back and waiting to see what happened. You got to put in the work, and it's not easy. And you have to keep going, like biting and chewing through and persevering. And as I continue to do that, I start to see the results, and I started to continue to step on the accelerator to keep it moving. One of the things that I was so scared to do, people, was to let toxic people, out of my life go. I have to hand it to my therapist, because he was very patient with me and helped me to see things from a different perspective by doing a pro and con list of what these people in my life were presently bringing to the table. And it was almost on empty. When I look at the pro and the con list, it was just the cons were outweighing the pros. And then I would look at what I was giving, and I was over giving, and this is why they were sticking around. And then I had to learn how to balance out these scales, keep things in a balance, instead of over giving and overdoing things while people are receiving, but there's no equal give and take. And as I start to do that, but it took time to learn this lesson, guys, because my self esteem had to be built up first, and I did that through prayer, asking God to help me. Then I would look at what I was doing, and was I doing something not right for these people to behave this way, etc., and so forth. And then I start to learn and research more about narcissistic behavior. And I start to put the pieces of the puzzle together and say, I don't want toxicity into my life. I don't want these kind of situations in my life. So I need to do something to improve myself. And once a mirror is held up to your face, you look at it and you see your flaws. And then you see things that you keep doing, which allowed these lessons to keep coming back around, because I wasn't learning from them. But once you learn these lessons, then those doors from the past can be closed, and the repetition will disappear. It won't be there, because you've learned the lesson. And this is why I always talk to you guys about situations, with difficult situations and circumstances and people and etc. Sometimes they're not meant to be in your life to stay. They're there to teach us lessons. And whatever those lessons that need to be learned, once we learn that, we can close those doors. And once you close those doors to those situations after you learn the lessons, then you can open up those new doors and walk towards those new beginnings. However, you can't walk to a new beginning if you still have a door open from a lesson you didn't learn from the past. You can't take that with you to the new beginnings. You have to learn those lessons. And then once they're learned, close those doors and move forward. And I kept doing it and doing it. It was painful. I would sit and cry about things. God, why I have to go through this? Then I would think about Job in the Bible and what he went through. And I start to read that and look at that and see, movies and things like that. And I said, wow, damn, he went through a lot. It's a wonder he's still here at that particular time, right? And even his wife told him to curse God and die. I'm like, it was bad, real bad. But God allowed him to be tested to the fullest. And he passed the test. And you know what happened after he learned those lessons? All those doors were closed. He lost a whole lot, but he learned the lesson. And now God opened up new beginnings and new doors. And what God gave to him was a triple times what he had before. you know, and this is what I do. And one of the things I tell people all the time, I'm not religious, and I'm a person who have a relationship with God, and I know um, that I don't have to go to a man or a woman to tell me how to have a relationship with God. I have that with him, and I'm telling you, you don't have to go to another man, woman, or anybody to tell you how you need to have a relationship with God. You call on him, you talk to him, you ask him to help you, and not only to help you, but then you work in accordance to what you are asking God for and put in the work. He's not going to wave a magic wand and give you your request and you sit back while and wait and watch. You have to do the work. And some people don't want to do the work because it means looking at yourself, looking at circumstances. But once you do the work and put it in, you start to see the growth. You start to see the positive aspects that start to take place in your life. You know, without any growth, you can't see that. Some people just want it quick, like a microwave. Let's skip over chapter 2 and go to chapter 5. It doesn't work like that. You have to put in the work, you know, and little by little, and you can get creative with it, like I did after some time. But perseverance and being consistent is the key factor. Sometimes, we're human, we have days with we don't feel like doing anything, and then because we're in depression or we're feeling grief, let yourself feel that. But then the next day, get up and get right back to it. Never allow your healing and your physical and mental health to suffer because you don't want to do the work to heal. And never allow anyone to interfere with that or tell you otherwise. You know what you need for yourself. It's important to do the work, and like I'm telling you guys that I would have never been able to do any healing or any work without the help of God or without the faith in him and without me persevering. And God gave me the ability to persevere through all the challenges, to bite through, to crawl through, to keep going, going, and going. And now my life is at a place where he the healing has led to self-love, self-care, and inner peace. Once you start to get to those places in your life, you're unbothered by the drama, the noise, and the toxicity from the past. People will say whatever, and try to do whatever. My best medicine for that is 100% silence. Unless they're confronting me, physically, then that's something different. But that noise, I tune it out. It's important that we continue to move forward to take care of ourselves. Like I said, therapy, once you get the hang of that and start it on a regular basis to see a therapist, then after that, start doing things that build yourself up. Some of the ways is with music. If you guys have a playlist of music, if you play an instrument, do that. Those things are helping your physical and mental health. Things that uplift you, bubble baths, attending, events that lift your spirit, exercising, going to the gym, horseback riding, whatever these things that you enjoy, engage in these things, positive things that uplift you. And as you continue to do that and take time out for yourself on a daily basis, no matter what you have going on, you start to feel better because you're giving yourself what you need. You're giving your mental and physical health the care that it needs, because without that, you can't take care of yourself or anybody else. It's important to do that. Then once you start to love yourself, you start to make better decisions in your life, because you know what's for your highest good. You don't just settle for relationships or situations or whatever just because someone is attracted to you or just because you don't want to be alone, because it's not for your highest good. You know what's for your highest good as you start to heal, self-care and self-love, and you don't care about what the noise and of gossip or toxicity is. You learn to tune that out as you continue to redirect your focus on healing your mental and physical health. It's important. And I stayed in prayer. At first I was fighting with God all the time about all these things that were taking place. But at that particular time, I failed to realize that these lessons, once they come back around 2 and 3 and 4 times, they're worse than ever because I wasn't learning them. I was just letting people do whatever and making excuses and etc. And I was overgiving, not only overgiving, but I was redirecting the focus on the circumstances and situations of other folks than taking care of myself. And I needed to be sat down so I know that I matter too and I need to take care of myself. It was so important. And now that I recognize that, it doesn't matter to me what people are talking about. And what I do now is uplift other people. Everywhere I go, guys, errands, I'm running and talking to people. People are just coming up and talking to me. And I take the time to talk to them, and uplift people. I don't know. It's just one guy told me, one woman told me that I have a nurturing spirit, and I try to do that. I'm still generous and caring and concerned about others. I pray for people, help people, but I'm not going to be in that energy of overgiving anymore, neglecting myself and my responsibilities to overgive to someone who doesn't care whether I exist or not. And those are the lessons that I've learned. And once I learned them, the narcissistic individuals and circumstances and situations dropped off to the wayside as I close and padlock those doors and start to move towards my new beginnings, to invite better situations in my life, people in my life who genuinely care about me and who's going to uplift me and give an equal give and take to the situation, and not for any other ulterior reasons. So keep moving forward. You will see the results, and do things to motivate yourself. Of music, a lot of times before I get on, I'm listening to music, and there's days I don't feel like doing certain things. Music put me in a mood. Look at things from a different perspective to help yourself to get motivated. And if you have people in your life who are motivating you, let them help you know but the key factor for me, besides all of that, because I didn't have that, is prayer. Staying in prayer, and then acting in accordance to the things that I'm asking God for help in prayer. That helped me a lot, and I'm in a better place and better space. Guys, keep showing up here and invite others, because every day there's going to be different topics, but it all ties into our healing, mental and physical health. And something somewhere will resonate with you, and you can start there. Like, boundaries is important when you get on this journey to heal. Setting boundaries so that people don't overstep in your life, or when you need to set boundaries so that you can take care of your healing, your physical and mental health. That's so important, people. Thank you for being here, guys. I have to get going now, but I want to show up, encourage you, be the best that you can be. You're going to have good days, you're going to have not so good days. Continue to move forward. And continue to, if you can help somebody just by listening to them for a few minutes, because you may be saving somebody's life. That's why I take the time out, even with strangers who are talking to me, and just to uplift people, because we have a lot of the other stuff in this world today of toxicity. And this channel is about, non-judgment, lifting people up and helping people to be the best that they can be. Well, that's it today, guys. This is Lisa, shedding love and light to you all. Continue to work on your physical and mental health. Have a great Friday and weekend, and I'll be back with a new message on Monday. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend, and bye for now.